Hello children, today we'll learn lesson 6, Philatus and the Big Blue Sea for grade 5 from book The Magic Carpet. It is an extract from the Adventures of Philatus Frog by Karthik Shanker. Children, do you remember when you felt nervous or excited about doing something for the first time in your life? For example, like when you're on a stage for the first time or when you started swimming? Yes, some replies would be like this. I had butterflies in my stomach when I jumped from a very big height in scuba diving. I felt so nervous before the exam. I was shaking with excitement before giving my first speech on the stage. So the main character in this story is Philatus, or he was funnily known as Tavalai by some of his friends. He was born on a very big tree and he never came down all his life. Neither his father nor his mother or his grandparents. And people used to funnily call him as Tavalai. And also sometimes the other frogs made fun of him because he never been a tadpole. What is a tadpole? Because the eggs of the frogs live in water, swim in water, and then they become big frogs. But here the frog was born on the tree and he lives on the tree and he is proud of it. The big tree was in the middle of the Shola forest, a deep, dark, wet forest dripping with dew. The Shola lay at the bottom of a valley and was surrounded by grasslands. Inside the Shola it was always cool, but the grassland was a harsh land. Tavalai's father used to say, "It's very hot in the day and freezing cold at night. But here in the Shola, it is cool and moist all the time. That's why you must always stay here." Tavalai's friends had been to so many places, far off places, and they talked about those places. But Talaiva even wanted to explore this world. So one day he heard about a big blue sea. And he knew he had to go and see there. But his frog friends laughed at him. But Tavalai was to go. One morning, the Tavalai came down from the big tree, hopping from branch to branch. He crawled down slowly till he reached the ground. The soil was moist and covered with dead leaves. A shrew dragged around him and slagged and grunts crawled. Tavalai was tempted to climb straight back up the big tree to the safety of his home. Instead, he hopped towards the edge of the Shola forest. As he got closer to the light, Tavalai's heartbeat beat faster and faster. What would he find? Was it the end of the world? Or was there any endless supply of food? In other words, frog heaven. When he got there, finally a heavy mist lay over the grassland, and Talaiva could not see anything. And far away he heard croaking. Slowly he stepped out onto the grassland for the very first time in life. The cold surprised him. Instead of warm, dry leaves, there was nothing but crackling grass. When the fog cleared, children, fog means it's like the sky is filled with, it is like mist, not at all clear, not clearly visible. In winter seasons, we see that heavy fog. Tavalai saw the most amazing sight. The entire hill opposite was blue. It was covered with a carpet of kurinji, the little shrub which flowered only once in 12 years. And on the edges of the Shola forest were the sturdy rhododendrons with their bright red flowers. As Tavalai hopped down the hill, he could hear the sound of water. Within minutes, he came upon a little mountain stream winding its way down a small hill covering with little rocks. And on one of the rocks sat the biggest frog that Tavalai had ever seen before. fat and prosperous, was sitting at the edge of the cold and rocky stream. He looked smug and satisfied with himself. Bufo is the name of the giant frog. "Oh, giant frog, do you live in this bog?" asked Thavalai. "I am a tod, you little frog," Bufo answered pompously. "I live everywhere, whether it's the field, forest, or city." Then Thavalai met Sally, the grassland lizard. Sally could change colors when she wanted. When Thavalai landed next to her, she turned a green-brown like the grass behind her. After a few minutes, she was sure that this tiny frog posed no threat and reappeared. When you know who is this little lizard? Yeah, it's chameleon. It changes color according to the background. When the chameleon, Sally, it's the name of the chameleon. Sally felt that she was safe. It changed back to its original color. "Hi there, I am Thavalai the tree frog, and I'm looking for a big blue sea," Thavalai said. "Go down that hill and up the next one, and you will find the sea," said she. Thavalai hopped rapidly down a little path towards the valley. He skipped over the grass, slid down the rocks, jumped on the moss till he was in the middle of the valley, surrounded by hills and fog. Thavalai felt very lonely, and suddenly he was face to face with a creature that frogs fear the most. Inches away, the long pupils of a snake looked straight into Thavalai's eyes. Thavalai froze in fear, but Ahatalu, the snake, had just eaten a tod and was done for the week. He slithered up to Thavalai and asked how he might help. Children, Attila is the name of the snake. Thavalai explained that he was looking for the sea. Attila asked Thavalai to follow him up the hill and said he would show him a path that led straight down to the sea. At last, it lay there in front of him, the big blue sea. Thavalai looked at it in wonder, watching the blueness disappear into the distance and meet the sky, not quite knowing whether it was a real or a trick of the wind and the frog and the sun.